Good morning, class 3. So, I am Vinita Sharma and I will be taking your English class today. I do hope all of us, you and me together, have a beautiful journey of learning today. So, in these COVID times, you must have heard a lot many times the doctors, the parents, the teachers, the friends, everybody would keep on saying, you need to be strong, you need to be healthy, you need to eat well, you need to sleep well, because if you do not, then this COVID, this pandemic is going to surely catch you. You have to be careful about your immune system. Now, what's an immune system? So, it's a body which is strong, will fight all the germs and the bacteria on its own. So, what are the things that makes your body strong? I know everyone says yoga makes you strong. I don't know, I could never make my body strong with yoga. Some people do, some don't. But yes, lots of exercise and lots of food. So, what are the things that one should eat and keep on eating so as to make yourself strong and a big fighter? So, green vegetables, that's what I keep on telling my children. Some meat or lots of meat, if that's what you like, eggs, then dairy products. And remember, in those dairy products, even chocolates come. So, you can eat your chocolates also. Lots of milk if it is available. And then they also talk about the fruits that one should eat. Now, there are lots and lots of fruits that all of us eat, and one of the fruit is the plum. And I love plum. I don't know why, but I love the plum. And sometimes it's very sweet, and sometimes it's like it's a combination of sweet and sour both, and that's what I like about plum. And in Delhi, you do find plum, but not as tasty as you find here in Kohima that I stay. And this monsoon season is all about plum. So today, this story is going to be telling you something about a plum's journey. So the way we travel from one place to another, even the plum travels from here to there. So let's find out, except for plum, what are the other fruits that are very healthy for you. So here we go. So I can see a papaya. I love papayas. I don't mind eating papaya. Then pineapple, another fruit that I love to eat in Kohima. Then you have the watermelon. Then you have bananas. You have oranges, grapes. What else is there? I see lychee there. Then guava is also there. The pomegranate is there. And there is one apple also. Now, apple is one fruit, I don't know why, but I kind of do not really enjoy eating it. So, is there any other way that if you don't like a fruit, is there any other way that you can still consume that fruit? Because what people say is, and especially the doctors, say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I think apple is the most important fruit that you should be eating, and I don't like apple. So what are the other ways that you can eat apple if you really don't like it? And I found out that I like apple pie. So if I don't want to eat it raw, I can just make a pie out of it. There are cakes that can be made. You can crush that pulp of the apple and make breads, and amazing breads you can make. So it's not that if you don't like a fruit, you just don't know what to do with it. You can still think of ideas and different things that can be made from the same fruit. So here we will also find out if you don't like plum. I'm sure you would be liking it, but just in case you don't like plum, what next and what are the other things that can be done with the plum then? Okay, so this is how the plum looks like. So this is a whole plum and the other one is cut into half. and it's very, very juicy, very juicy. And when the children are eating and you put it in the mouth, there are times that the juice just falls off, and there are people who just lick it. I don't know whether it's really healthy, but I think children love licking their fingers and their hands when the juice falls off, and that happens with the ice cream as well. So, if you do not like to eat plum as a whole, what can you do? You can make a jam out of it. And the jam can be put on the bread. I remember when I was in school, my mother used to just make a paratha and spread the jam on the paratha. So this is another way to eat the jam, the plum, or any other fruit that you do not like to eat. Okay, so now this is the story of the plum before it becomes a jam for you to enjoy. So we are going to learn about the travel history of our fruit called plum. How does it travel and what all happens that it becomes a jam for you to eat. So let's begin with the story. So I am your friend, the plum jam, and since I am sweet and tasty, I know that most of you like me on your bread. Let me tell you something about myself. So before I became your jam, I lived in a big fruit garden with my family. Family means he also had little same kind of plums, and that's what a family was. I had a lot of fun growing up with my brothers and sisters, and we also had plenty of friends and relatives. Plenty means many, many friends and relatives. And when we were young, that means when we were little children, we were all green. So, which means that they were not ripe, they were not up to the mark, they were not supposed to be eaten. So in Hindi you call it kacha, you call it raw. So that's how a raw or a kacha plum would look. So it's green and they are not nice looking. And because they are not really sweet to be eaten, people would just not pick them up, let them leave, let them be on the tree. And because the people were ignoring these green plum, they got a chance to become better and purple or red in color for you to enjoy the juice. And so this is how attractive they started looking when they grow little bigger. So they were fat and juicy. And when they were fat and juicy, like these red ones, what happens? The people, they started plucking them. And why? Because obviously all of them, as me, wanted to enjoy those juicy, fat, beautiful plum. But when they are plucking those plum, they are plucking it really rough, and sometimes even the plum do get hurt by the roughness. So remember, next time when you're plucking a fruit, just make sure that you do the plucking very softly so that you're not hurting the fruit, you're not hurting the branch, and not hurting the tree. So, when they are ripe, when they are beautiful, and when they are juicy, they are all packed into that truck. And there's an ice cream cone that a plum is holding, so which means you can have a plum ice cream as well. That starts the water in my mouth now. So this is a basket. These are all your plums which are loaded into the basket first. They are bamboo basket and then in the trucks. And where would they be going? So he says, it is a story, remember, of a plum. He says, we were then taken for a long, bumpy ride. So a bumpy ride is when you are having lots of jumping in the car itself or in the truck. It's not a smooth ride. And I'm sure he would have not enjoyed the way we do not enjoy if the road is not smooth. And we were all covered with straw and couldn't even see places we were crossing. So the Plum wanted to see how the journey was. Maybe he wanted to look up to the scenes or to something nicer outside the truck window. But he was covered with straw, with bamboo, and he was just not about to see anything. And at last, the jeep stops and they are lifted and displayed in the market. Remember, they should look very, very delicious because soon a big fat lady came, bargained with the seller and bought all of us. So, bargained is when the product is very, very expensive. It costs a lot and he doesn't want to pay that much. So, what does the lady do? Or what does the man do? They say, please give this for 10 rupees only. I can't pay 20. So, that's what is called bargaining. So, this lady started bargaining, and once the bargaining started, the jeep or the truck driver also said, okay, take whatever you want to, and hence she got all of them from the bargain. Now this time all the plum were loaded onto a van and they were taken to her home. Now what is she going to do with all these plum? Taking them home. And because the plums had no idea, oh my God, they were scared, they were afraid, they were frightened. And when they reached the home, they were all kept in a dark store room. So imagine Plum where it was on the tree with beautiful surroundings, with beautiful sunshine. And now they are kept in a box and in a dark storeroom. No sun, no brightness, no shine. So the Plum thinks that maybe they would be eaten immediately by her mischievous children. Now, mischievous means children who are little naughty, not really behaving well, but they are not mean. They only behave badly, but in a most funny manner. So the Plum is a little worried what is going to happen to him and the other family members, his friends and his relatives who are there in that dark store room. But much to their happiness and much to their joy, what happens? They are being cleaned, and this is what is going to happen to them. So today we will be learning the process of how do you make jam. So remember, if you do not like to eat plum as a fruit, you can always make a jam. So if your parents are around, ask them to come and learn how to make the jam, and then you can eat it on the paratha, on the bread, or just lick it with your finger and enjoy it. So tell mama to sit with a pen and paper, or maybe you can do that. Sit with a pen and paper and learn how to make jam. So remember, this is the lady that is going to make the jam in the story. So the first thing that you do is you wash the plums in running water. Remember, they have traveled from the garden, from the trees, into the truck, into the basket. So they need to be washed. So first, we wash these plums in the running water. So running water is whenever you open a tap and the water starts running. Then you put 1 or 2 small plates in the freezer. Why? Because this plate is going to be used to check whether the jam is cooked enough to set or not. So this is something that is also exciting and interesting for me, because even I did not know that there is something called freezing the plate, and you have to check the jam from there. So a learning experience for me as it is for you. Let's see what is the next step. I'm really excited. Okay, so they are going to take 4 regular sized plum. You can take as many as you have, and you're going to chop them. So you take a knife. Remember, if you're too young to hold a knife, you're going to ask some adult to help you with it. And if you know that you're smart enough to handle and you're big enough to do it, then you can take the knife. So you chop those plums into half and you remove the pit. So what's the pit? It's a big, big ball which is inside. And sometimes the balls are like tiny ones. So you have to take those balls. You don't play cricket with it. You just take it out and throw it. And then take the knife, chop into pieces. They can be regular pieces, they can be irregular, which means they can be tiny ones, they can be small ones, they can be big ones, as you can, as you're comfortable. Then next, you put the plum in a container on the gas stove and you heat them. And when you're heating those plums, remember to squeeze a bit of lemon juice in it, put a little bit of sugar, and the heat is not supposed to be slow, not supposed to be high, just the medium heat. So remember, when you're heating the plum, lemon juice and sugar to be poured over the pan. Then let this mixture cook over the medium heat. And when it starts to boil, boil is when it's very, very hot and you see the steam coming up and you see the boils inside. That means it has started to boil. They are going to be really soft and tender inside when you touch the plum. Soft is this soft, like a cotton, or maybe like your cheek. And you need to stir them, try to prevent the sticking, and the plum, the color of the plum is going to be a little darker when it is done. And then this is what the plate does to you. You take from the spoon and just spread it on the plate. When you see that it sticks on the plate, it means your jam is ready. And once the jam is ready, you are ready to eat and enjoy. So this was a very, very simple plum jam recipe that also is there in the story that they make it. Then they are put into the glass jars and they are sold in the shops. If you're making it, don't sell them, just eat it yourself. So this is the bottle of the jam and it says, "Here, I'm waiting for you to buy me. Come and buy me." So your question, do you think that the plums can only be used as a jam? No, that's a pickle also. So you have a jam pickle. You call it achar in Hindi. And you have a plum sauce also that can be made from the plum. So lots and lots of ways to eat. Then dumplings. Dumplings, you can stuff these plum fruit. The whole plum fruit can be stuffed into these dumplings. And of course, the famous plum cake that all of us relish, and especially on the Christmas time. So let's start with the health benefits of plums. So if you eat these plums, what does it do for you in your body? So it makes sure that your tummy is absolutely fine, so digestion is fine. Of course, you don't have stress, but sometimes you have fatigue. Fatigue is when you're tired. So if you're tired, eat plum, you'll be just fine. Lowers cholesterol, so if your parents have a blood pressure problem, that eating plum would solve them. Then there are times when you have low iron content. Eat plum, iron would be there. Bone health, that is very, very important for children like you and adults like me. So eat plum, bone health is done with you. And of course, the eyes. Remember, if you don't want to wear glasses like me, eat lots and lots of plum. And the most important thing for all of us. It supports brain health. So you are a young child, you need lots of support from the plum with the brain and the eyes both. So these are two most important things as a child to remain healthy. So let's revise. Which other fruit jam do you like to eat? I think I like to eat apple because that's something that I don't like it as a fruit. So you should have your own choices. Then what is the process of making jam? If you've written, you will know. If not, then write it soon. What was the process? Just remember, those are only 4 simple steps. And lastly, give the opposite of these words. So opposites are when you are telling me what is not the same. So what's an enemy? Just the opposite, just the thing which is not enemy, a person who's not your enemy. If the person is not your enemy, he would certainly be your friend. So the right answer is friend. The second one is old, so that would be young as you are and old as me. Small, small as a snail, and big as an elephant. It did say it's stored into dark. So if the storeroom was not dark, then it would be light or bright. So this is your homework. Design a paper fruit mobile as shown in the picture. So this is a bamboo stick for you. You can draw these pictures. You can take the thread, the normal thread that is used for sewing, and you can make these cutouts and play with it. So thank you so much for a lovely interaction. I do hope that you learned and you enjoyed the short story, and all of you are going to make that plum jam for your mother. Thank you and bye-bye.